Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, May 5th. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Oren News, where we'll be bringing you your top stories translated into English every weeknight. The U.S. Ambassador Donald Liu and EU Ambassador Romana Vlahotin participated yesterday in the meeting of the Ad Hoc Commission for Justice Reform. In an appeal that sounded more like an ultimatum, they called on Albania's political parties to stop delaying the implementation of the reform. The ambassadors say that they will continue with their efforts towards the adoption of the justice reform. They had planned to participate in separate parliamentary group meetings of the Democratic Party, Socialist Party, and the Socialist Movement for Integration Party on Friday, but today some sources within the Democratic Party said that the meeting of the DP parliamentary group, which was scheduled for tomorrow, has been canceled. Meanwhile, sources from the Socialist Party said that the meeting of the SP group with the ambassadors will be held in the coming week. The Prime Minister commented on the meeting with the ambassadors from the plenary session. He declared that the ambassadors are welcome to meet with the Socialist parliamentary group, asking that they first meet with the Democrats, as according to him, they are holding up the judicial reform process. The chairman of the Socialist Movement of Integration, Ilir Meta, expressed the same readiness for the judicial reform. He declared today that constitutional project of justice reform has been concluded with the variant presented by the international experts. He invited the opposition to support the draft and to adopt it in Parliament. To the Socialist Movement for Integration, the justice reform was concluded yesterday. We were waiting for the Venice and Euralis and opdat opinion on the disagreement issues between the parties. The Socialist Movement for Integration is ready to vote on this variant, said Meta. During the presentation of the draft of international experts, the EU and US ambassadors declared that June is the last deadline for adoption of the justice reform. The Socialist MP, Ben Blushi, commented in Parliament on the justice reform, declaring that the Assembly does not have the power or the distinction to adopt the reform. Later this day, the U.S. Embassy commented on the meeting, saying that they will be held next week. Experts have not seen the need to change how many votes are needed to elect a justice institution member, which is one of the Democratic Party's main objections to the draft of constitutional changes. The international experts are asking that the Constitutional Court have 9 members, 3 of whom should be proposed by the President, 3 by Parliament, and with a qualified majority of 84 votes, and 3 others to be elected in an independent way by the Supreme Court and Supreme Administrative Court. Also, the draft of the international experts differs from the decriminalization law, as it does not provide for the perpetual exclusion of a public official from politics, in the case where the official has been previously convicted of a criminal offense. According to the draft, a public official previously convicted for a criminal offense will not be allowed to participate in politics for a certain period of time. The draft also determines the object of the investigation for the National Bureau of Investigation, and according to the draft, the Bureau will investigate the President, the former President, the Assembly Speaker, the former Assembly Speaker, the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, the ministers, the former ministers of the last 3 years, the Prosecutor General, the High Inspector of Justice, the mayors, the MPs, vice ministers, members of the Supreme Council of Justice and Supreme Council of Prosecution, members of the Constitutional Court, of the Supreme Court, of the Supreme Administrative Court, and the leaders of main state institutions. The foreign experts have proposed that the Council of Appointments in the justice system should be composed of judges and prosecutors who have not had any disciplinary measures. The international experts have proposed that the vetting process for the members of the justice system be reduced to 5 years instead of 11 years. The foreign experts' draft also outlines a 3 to 5 vote in the Parliament in order to elect the Prosecutor General. According to the experts, the prosecutor will have a mandate of 7 years without the right to be re-elected. The former Prime Minister and the Minister of Interior commented today on the case of Arben Frroku. The former Prime Minister, Salih Berisha, declared that the Interpol request for Arben Frroku arrived on March 6 after he was arrested in the Netherlands. The former Prime Minister accused the Minister of Interior and the Prime Minister of deliberately hampering the procedures for the extradition of Arben Frroku. Earlier today, the Minister of Interior was asked about this case, and he responded, "I have personally asked for an evaluation of all state police actions since the day of the news of Arben Frroku's arrest was made public. The international partners in Albania have independently investigated the way the state police acted. The state police made its duty according to the law," the minister said. Arben Frroku was declared to be an internationally wanted criminal after the appellate court declared him guilty of the murder of the former police chief Dratan Lamai, ruling lifetime imprisonment. The Democratic Party recently accused the Minister of Interior and the Prime Minister of allowing Arben Frroku to escape from Albania and of deliberately delaying sending information to the Dutch police for the identification of Arben Frroku. The opposition and the majority commemorated May 5th as Martyrs' Day in separate ceremonies. The Assembly Speaker, Vice Prime Minister, ministers of the government, and various MPs made homage to the martyrs' cemeteries. The Assembly Speaker declared May 5th to be a day for the sacrifice of the martyrs of the nation to be commemorated. Mr. Mehta praised the martyrs' contributions towards a better future. Meanwhile, the opposition commemorated May 5th on a separate ceremony, claiming the government excluded them from the main ceremony. The Democratic Party chairman, along with other Democratic MPs, put wreaths on the Mother Albania Memorial. The DP chairman said that this day should serve to remind all to continue to battle to save the country from crime and corruption. The DP chairman and other opposition reps also paid homage at the memorial to the hero of democracy, Azem Haidari, where the DP chairman said that the country is being ruled by criminals. Meanwhile, the former Prime Minister, Salih Berisha, attacked the Prime Minister again today, accusing him of releasing criminals with false documents. A day after the Bank of Albania reduced the interest rate for the 16th time since September 2011, economic experts have expressed skepticism about the effect it will have on the economy. According to the experts, lending and consumption gains are not dependent on central bank instruments, but rather on the government. The experts think that the government should continue with the structural reforms to improve the business climate. Claims we are at a time when the government cannot reduce taxes following the agreement with the International Monetary Fund. The experts think that only the government can improve the business climate, as the real problems are not banks that do not give loans, but the citizens and business owners who do not ask for loans. The experts consider yesterday's decision by the Bank of Albania to reduce the interest rate as a clear indicator that the economy is not performing as well as expected. According to them, this made the Bank of Albania reduce its forecast for economic growth by 0.4% of its initial plan. The Bank of Albania decided yesterday to reduce the interest rate to the new historical low of 1.25% in an effort to promote consumption and loans, two indicators that remain problematic. This is the 16th reduction in loan interest rates since 2011. The mayor of Tirana inaugurated the reconstruction of a kindergarten in Tirana today, where he promised the reconstruction of 23 other kindergartens and the construction of 11 playgrounds within 2016. Thanks to the government initiative Adopt a Kindergarten, the children of the reconstructed kindergartens will have better conditions. This year will be remembered as Children's Year, he said. We will not only reconstruct all the kindergartens, but we will also finish the playground at the Lake Park area, and will build 11 other playgrounds in Tirana neighborhoods where children can play, said the mayor. City Hall has also provided the reconstruction of all libraries and the opening of summer camps. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.